Guys, let's go back to the game for which this discussion is centered, and that's the game 163 back in 2009. I mean, it was a dramatic finish to that season to start with, just to get into the game 163. What do you remember about that final series of the year as you were trying to get yourselves into the postseason? Joel, we'll start with you. I mean, this team had to have a winning streak to close the season just to force the one-game playoff.
Yeah, we knew it was a long shot coming in. The thing that's so clear to me is how crazy that weekend was in sports, especially for fans in Minnesota. First to get to experience that final weekend, and then there was Monday Night Football, I believe, that week as well. And we were forced, wasn't that was the year we were forced to play on a Tuesday for game 163, I believe?
Correct.
And so that week for Minnesota fans must have just been one that they remember just as clear as we do, experience it on the field. So for me, I just remember leading up to our final weekend, we're going into that last series and still think it's a long shot for us to get in. And so the emotions when we had a chance to play 163, we had the control because we knew we had one more game to play the Yankees in the series. And then we got a chance to go catch some pretty good football on Monday as well and watch the Green Bay Packers come in to play the Vikings.
The Twins had to sweep a series against the Royals on the final weekend. They were down 2 with 3 to play and got into the game. And then you get to the game itself, and bizarre, just back and forth. I haven't seen very many baseball games like this one. And it starts out with with Detroit jumping out in front in the game. What are some of the early thoughts in this game? Carlos, I know you weren't in the starting lineup for that night, but as you fall behind early in that game, and it's a do-or-die situation, what are some of the thoughts that go through a ball club on the bench as they jump out in front 3-0?
I mean, like, for back there, I'm so energized, so happy. And this experience that I looking around the oldest guy, the veteran guy, and see how relaxed they are, how together we are, and I see and I believe it in us. I say, like, we're gonna win. What I see in this clubhouse is a winning team, and everybody positive. Nothing changed. The guy playing around inside the clubhouse, making jokes to relax everybody. And when we go outside, everybody is contagious. Like, I never play in any game like this, like see 50, 60,000 people when the same intensity for the 11 innings. And I came out to stretch. Even I'm not playing that day, I came out to stretch to see that crowd, to see all the guys motivated, and it's amazing, unbelievable experience.
Well, the name of this show is Unscripted, and that was kind of the theme for the final weekend. The Twins were trying their hardest to say goodbye to the Metrodome, but the way the weekend played out, you ended up catching the Tigers, forcing game 163, and it was a matchup between Scott Baker of the Twins and then, this just stunned me when I looked this up again, a 20-year-old Rick Porcello, who was just outstanding for the Tigers.
Yeah, and, the thing about Porcello is, we faced him a couple times that season. Obviously, he was a rookie. We didn't have any dope on him prior to the season starting, but we faced him a couple times during that season, and he was a hard sinker thrower, power sinker, 91 to 95 sinkers. Well, that game, he totally flipped the script, started throwing fastballs up in the zone, 95, 96 miles an hour up in the zone, and we had to make that adjustment, and then we were able to kind of figure them out. And then after they got out of the game, they took off from there. But I think that was the thing I remember the most about that game with Porcello, is that he totally flipped his script on the way he pitched us and the way he tackled.
High fly ball, hammered deep left field, track, wall, and gone!
What was it like in the dugout when Cabrera hit the home run and you thought, in the 8th inning, here we go, we got a chance to get 6 more outs, we've got this thing in the bag, and then it lasted, the Twins' lead lasted just 2 pitches.
Incredible. Yeah, that home run lifted the team so big. Kubal's home run was huge before that. And that 2-run shot, it was just an injection into what was coming. We played, leading up to that September. I think you mentioned it. We were 1 game over 500. So we had been doing this for an entire month. Like, I think we won 16 out of 20 games. So it really was just the spark, right, that we had been doing the whole month of September. So once we got that spark, I felt like most of us were pretty confident that we were going to pull this thing off.
Yeah, for me, I got to be a fan, which was awesome. Watching those first, 7 innings of baseball, it still gives me goosebumps right now thinking about it. The crowd, to talk about what Gomez was talking about, the crowd was so intense, so loud from the first inning to the 12th inning. They never stopped. And for us as players, man, that's all you could ask for. I mean, the energy was great. We found ourselves in the bullpen having to calm ourselves down because it was so intense. We still got to get ourselves prepared and try to stay as consistent as we do throughout the season. So, for me, it was about that, 6th inning time when, I had to really start to bring myself down a little bit and kind of slow my breathing down, slow my thoughts down, prepare for what's about to come, and know that there's a chance I could be coming in, especially around the 8th inning. So it was time to start getting the business and not just enjoying this game and don't get caught up in the moment.
So now let's get to the late innings. Joe, you come in after Maglio Ordonez has tied the game already. You finish the 8th, you pitch the 9th. This isn't the only time you've been in that spot, but it's got to be a helpless feeling as a closer, but really any player that's been removed from the game, knowing that you no longer have any impact. There's nothing you can do except just sit and watch as a fan as the game goes into the later innings. What's that like once you know that your name is off the lineup card?
That was the worst part. I mean, I was, you have nerves and everything, and then you get out on the mound and you settle into the game, but your focus, I feel like everybody's focus that game was so laser focused, and you're so dialed in. And, even though some things are out of your control, at least you got a chance to contribute. When you come out of the game, that was the hardest part. Watching that game and seeing scenarios kind of unfold and just hoping and praying for the best. And you're sitting up either on the bench, up wherever you think is a good luck spot. We were trying to find anything to scratch a run across. And I was up there with Matty G and them Jesse Crane and all the guys that have come out of the game, and we all agreed it was way harder watching this thing after you came out than it was actually being out there.
Carlos, it was just the opposite for you. You were sitting and watching for a long time before entering the game late, and good thing you were in the game because, of course, you were a part of the game-winning run in the 12th inning. What's it like being on the other side, staying focused, staying ready in case your name is called 2.5, 3 hours after the game has started?
I mean, my case is a little bit different because I play the closer role because I know I'm gonna come out late in the game, and I had to do good on my job, play defense or running. So, for you guys remember, like we have long stairs to go to the clubhouse. I keep the 9th inning back and forth, keeping warm and loose. And by the time the run told me, you're going to play defense, it's my time now, nothing going to drop. So mentally and emotionally, I'm 100% ready to see how we're going to end the game.
Line drive, one there, throw back to first.